Hi everybody, my name is Abigail Skaraski and this is my Achievement Gap proposal. The Achievement Gap is a heartbreaking thing, and the way I've kind of grown to understand it is it's really an inadequate dispersion of resources in our education system. So you look and there are students who are very fortunate in that they were born to families who have resources and are able to send their children to the best schools in the nation with teachers that are incredibly qualified and schools that have seemingly bottomless resources. However, while that's phenomenal for them, there are students on the other end of the spectrum who aren't as fortunate and who do go to public schools who maybe aren't able to keep up with state standards. So the achievement gap is the difference in their test results, their job opportunities, and that'll lead overall to impact their quality of life, and that's just not fair to them. So how do we reform the education system to help these students so that they don't fall behind? Well, in thinking about my proposal, I decided to go big. I did not want to look and just help one specific school. I wanted to change my city. So living in Austin, Texas, an incredibly fast-growing city, I would love to bring the school choice program, or the voucher program as it's sometimes called, here to Austin. Personally, I grew up in the inner city of Milwaukee and I'm a product of the school choice system myself. And I've seen firsthand the way it helps parents and students to be able to access those resources that they previously wouldn't have the ability to access. So step one in my plan would be actually to go to Milwaukee and get familiar with it from the private school side, where specifically the school I went to, St. Marcus Lutheran Grade School, I would want to go there and understand from the teacher's perspective and from the administration perspective everything that involves in school choice, from the check that comes from the government, verifying that you spent that money on that student, and how all of that breaks down. I'd want to know that side of it. From there, I would want to go to a public school in Milwaukee and understand the public school side, because I am aware that most public schools are not a fan of the school choice system. And from there, I'd want to go into the political side of it, where from a politician, how do you look and justify splitting the money that you're giving to that you were originally giving all of it to the public school and taking half of it and putting it into the private sector of education, especially as the government has such monopoly on the education market. How do you justify taking away from that monopoly to invest in the private sector? I mean, in doing so, you're admitting your public school system is failing. But if it's failing, is this a way to impact your students? And especially when you talk the achievement gap, a lot of that's impacted by a lack of resources, whether that's the school's lack of resources or the student's lack of resources to make connections in order to continue to move on. And so doing the school voucher program opens up these children to so many more opportunities than they would have had. And so step two would be taking all of this knowledge that I've learned from Milwaukee and bringing it back to Austin, where step one would be to find private schools that would be willing to participate. From private schools to charter schools to satellite schools, I would want to have an extensive list all over the city of Austin of schools that would be willing to participate in this, because without the private schools, it's not going to work. Step three would be to get our politicians involved and to get them to support it. I do expect a lot of brushback from the politicians. I remember when this program originally launched in Milwaukee and it was not smooth by any means. But I also have seen firsthand how much this really does help close the achievement gap. And so this is my proposal. Thank you so much for your time.